Happy New Year, everybody. We will be getting started very shortly here at 10 o'clock a.m. Give up one more minute to everybody, kind of attendees, kind of like get queued in here. We'll be with you shortly. All right, everybody, let's get started here. Thank you again for joining us. Hope everybody's having a successful start to the year so far and getting everything going. We have a lot to discuss here today in the market update. I mean, the markets have really changed since we've last talked. And we're also going to discuss some RFP management services. And hold on to the end. We're going to have an announcement of that we're targeting to get completed here in the first half of this year. That has been a lot of demand for, and we're excited to discuss with you. So let's, I guess, just kick it off here right away. Again, my name is Scott Ebeling. I'm Director of Pricing and Strategic Solutions here at the team, and Allie is our Senior Pricing Analyst and Strategic Solutions Analyst as well. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Allie, I'll let you take away here on the agenda here a little bit and talk about Box. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk a little bit about Box, introduce you guys, just for those who don't know. We'll go into a very brief Box update here, and then go into, I think, Scott's market update. And then, like we talked about, we're going to be doing RFP management services. So super excited to go through the RFP management services. That's something that Box offers as part of our strategic services division, where Scott and I both work. So excited to go through RFPs today. We're going to go into a little bit about Box just in case. I think everybody who calls in here is already pretty familiar with Box, but just in case you're brand new, Box is a master energy broker helping individual energy brokers all across the nation to better serve their customers. We're licensed in all deregulated states. We provide state-of-the-art proprietary software to help you keep track of, quote, and contract your customers. We are a full end-to-end solution for all of your back office broker needs. And like I said, we can definitely help you if you are not licensed everywhere. We've got our territory map here. In the green, we've got natural gas options available. In the blue, we have both natural gas and power options available. And then with the gray with those little stripes there, those are our limited availability states. Those are states that have some sort of minimum usage threshold or load class requirement for the customer to be able to participate with retail. Most of the time, those are going to be your large commercial or industrial natural gas customers that have eligibility in those states. But if you have an opportunity anywhere where you see a color on the map, don't hesitate to reach out to Box and either apply to become a Box broker if you're not already, or reach out to your account manager if you're already signed up as a broker. Next, I think we've got our supplier slide. So anybody who's working in retail energy will recognize a lot of these names, if not all of them. We've got several of our big national brands, or NG, Direct Energy, Constellation, Hudson, Champion, as well as a mix of smaller suppliers. For example, TXU is part of the Vistra family that just serves Texas. So we've got a really good mix of both national suppliers and regional suppliers who have local expertise in their markets. If you're an energy broker and you're looking to offer more options to your customer and you're not already registered with Box yet, it's a great reason to get signed up with us.
Well, thanks, Allie. Now go into a little bit of a market update here. And wow, what a month we've had. I just want to start out quickly here. This is kind of, we left off, I think, 12.9, 12.10, and things were going pretty smooth, pretty mild fall. Then bam, all of a sudden we hit winter. We had a doozy. Santa had a little gift for everybody in their stocking this year, and that was cold weather and blizzards and 4 feet of snow in Buffalo to, sub-freezing temperatures and near freezing temperatures and record low temperatures in places of Texas and down in the South. I know areas of Georgia, North Carolina were hitting around single-digit temperatures. Those were record lows, and it just spread throughout. And with that, we had some very high prices on these days. PGM hit over $1,000 for the 24th. With that was 57 gigawatts of generation that was unavailable in PGM on 1200. That's a lot. That's almost a third of their generation capacity. ERCOT had some really high prices there on the 22nd. They were hitting up in the $600 area. Meanwhile, NEPOOL had some issues as well. Excessive outages almost caused a grid collapse there. But they were able to keep it relatively, tame in kind of terms of like $400 area. But they had some high prices throughout those days as well. But you see this, the volatility, and this is what happens. And this is winter. And the grid is getting more, is not as resilient as we all think it is. It's getting more complex, more and more issues. And this is, where the volatility is at now, is in the winter. And these kind of things can still happen. We still have a solid 2 months of winter ahead of us. So, just being a lookout for that, despite all the low prices and we see here and all that. And, but now, boom, what happened now is it's springtime. It seems like it is the last couple of weeks. I'm actually down in Texas this week. It's been nice. It's been like 70 degrees a couple of mornings. It's incredible. But, a lot of people have asked me, like, well, it's great you got out of the cold. I said, well, yeah, but, it's been in the 40s and 50s upward in Chicago for many days in the past couple of weeks. And you see this chart here. This shows you the temperatures we've had, average daily temperatures. And these are average. These are taking in the lows and the highs. And you can see the departures here. Brown is 20 above. I mean, the lighter browns, and those are 10 to 20 above. I mean, this is hitting up a lot of the Midwest, the East. Last week we had a storage injection, the first ever injection ever in history, a storage injection. And that was almost after a near record storage withdrawal a few weeks before that. So, but a storage injection, not this past week, but the week before. And this is part of it. And this is what's keeping price down. This is what really has brought, one of the things that's brought prices down is all this. But again, we have 2 more months of winter left. If you look here, this is kind of what shows really the price change since December 15th. So in 1 month, on the left of each of these charts is 2023, the calendar year. This is around the clock pricing at West Hub and NEPOOL. And then there's winter. That's Jan-Feb package around the clock. And you see these massive price drops. And again, that's because the gas market is, of course, plunged, which is the marginal fuel for generation, but also the fact that, really, is winter over. LMPs have been soft, and is, winter now over with the weather that has come in the picture. Historical NYMEX natural gas prices. I actually overlaid this to 12-month forward strip in the blue, and it shows you what's happened here, and we're pretty much back to where really we were in gas price on the forward strip under $4 now, where we were at beginning of 2022. After everything that happened, we're back at the same point. But the green there just shows where, kind of at winter, how it really was even more volatile, because that's kind of where the fear is out of, like, running out of storage, and where, they need the gas, and, the scarcity comes into play. And now, February gas is now underneath where that 12-month strip is. So the curve is definitely, and we'll look at this chart in a few minutes, the curve has definitely become more contango, which means the prices are higher in the outer years. And here you are, it's natural gas price curve, dramatic shift here. Look at February, March, the whole shift in the front, how that the blue is 12.9, the green is today. How this has shifted, but the back years it's not as big of a drop, you know. But you definitely, even the winter 24 has sold off a lot, and you know, it seems it's all clear. But we have a different kind of take on that. We'll talk about that in a second. Here's the kind of really winter fear gauge. You look at the March, April, because April's when we're in the clear. April's kind of next season. It's kind of that shift in kind of the seasons, and this is March, April 23 and March, April 24. The spread, the difference between them, April being higher than March, or March being higher than April, and you see 2023 has completely fallen off ever since, you know, that perfect fall we had in a way, and now it's practically zero. But you know, winter 24 has been, you know, fallen off too. Just take a look at where we're at here, 40 cents, and look where last year, where we got this up to is $1.80 and up to $1.40 even back in a certain number. And keep an eye on that. You know, understand that that's, you know, interesting kind of levels to see that. We actually hit around $2, I believe, in July on this spread. And we'll tell you why we're going to look at that when we look at storage, or why that's important to remember that number and where we were at. Here's some calendar strip prices. Again, 2024, 25, 26, all the hubs, everything has fallen off. The changes over on the right. And these curves have definitely become very, very, very flat, compared to where we're at before. And, you know, what's interesting is 24, the power markets have not come in contangoed like the gas market has, where, you know, the 24 is about 20 cents lower. You get 24 power being higher in here, so which is kind of interesting, and we can talk about some strategies. If you have any questions on that, we can talk about that individually with customers. Again, just get a hold of our desk. We can go into that, but you see these price drops we've had quite a lot, quite a big drops, and you know, we're hitting now in $30 areas in ComEd. Which is interesting, and you'll see that in some of the other PJM markets as well. One thing to notice here is that Ameren ComEd spread is really high compared to historic numbers, and we expect it to stay at those levels. Natural gas storage. Very interesting here. This is, you can barely see it here. It's up here. This is the black line. This is a chart that looks at the 52 weeks of the year, and it kind of like shows kind of where it's a good trend, but we're right hovering around the average level. At right around fresh numbers that came out about 30 minutes ago. We're at 28.20 right now in storage, which is right around the 5-year average. We're slightly above it, like by 6 or 7. And that's interesting because we're actually, you know, at the same levels. We're actually, believe it or not, lower than the levels we were last year at this time, which is again why to go back and look at that fear spread. Go look back at everything's just sold off. We're at these same numbers, and yet there's a lot of risks that are still out there. And in fact, one thing that's kind of not really, you know, discussed much, but we'll bring it up here, is, wow, what if Freeport LNG stayed online? What if this never was an issue there, where it had to go offline, and it was off, you know, even just went off for a month, but never even went offline. There was never an issue. This is 2 BCF a day of gas. It definitely would have went out. I mean, we've got Asian prices, European prices that are higher than they are here. And this LNG is needed out there in the global market. And when it does come back online, it's going to be coming out there. But where would we be? We'd be right here. We'd be actually probably below these lows. I estimate we'd probably be at around 24.50 right now. That's below the 5-year minimum. And this 5-year minimum got down to here, 1,000 level. So this is coming back online after everything that's been said and done, after the kind of a perfect fall we had with weather. relatively very good winter we've had so far, and we are still below, barely, but we're below last year's levels. And this is coming back online. Just keep that in mind when these prices are low and you got customers are wondering or saying like, I'm just waiting for these lower prices. Keep that in mind. End of year 2023 storage estimate, historic from current week till start of season. So this is just looking at kind of where we're at right now at this 2820 level, and historic kind of withdrawals we've had here. The maximum withdrawal, I mean the maximum level we can hit, that's be the minimum withdrawal. It's kind of like confusing the wording here. Where we average usually withdrawal, that's kind of what I always like to look at, kind of the average level, that's the normal, and kind of what the maximum withdrawal I've had, where minimum level we'd probably get. And so when Freeport comes online, we don't really know. It should come into February, beginning of March. So we could probably, with a normal kind of winter here, we'll probably hit around this 1450 to 1500 level. If it comes online earlier in March, if it doesn't, it'd be more like probably this, 1550 to 1600 level. And, but it's healthy. I'm not, going to claim at all that we're going to be in this dire, situation where we're going to be, some scarcity of gas in certain areas. There is in the Pacific, that's for sure. The California markets are having big issues with that. But there is some relief. The El Paso pipeline coming back online here at the end of the month. But there is some issues over there. But, generally across most of the rest of the United States, it's healthy storage levels. But that doesn't mean 2024 could not be an issue. And when we start looking at 2024 winter, what's important when we look at 2024 winter is you need to kind of make sure the storage is refilled before that. So all these prices could start reflecting that. And right now, it's a heck of a value. So, and one of the reasons why here as well, U.S. gas production is kind of topping out. This is the estimate of where we expect to be at for 2023. So we're pretty much at that. Production fell in December due to some freeze-offs. Investment in production was already unpopular, and and recent lower prices will not help. So they need to keep drilling. I've said it many times. You need to keep drilling. It's almost like a Ponzi scheme. You need to keep kind of throwing money in to keep the thing going. You need to keep drilling to get production to keep it going, because production falls off as you go through time. These wells, they just start depleting. The rate of production declines quite a bit after the first year and keeps precipitously declining. There isn't like a steady, hey, this well is going to work for 20 years and it's going to produce a BCF of gas every day. That's not how they work. And the cost to produce has gone up. There's labor shortages and material shortages, and the cost of both those have gone up because of that. We think kind of the gas level here that we estimate is profitability level has gone around that 350 level. They want to return now, a higher return they wanted before. So really, the point of where they'll incentivize to produce gas is probably the mid $4 level, where they would start looking at investments $4.50 to $5 level. And we're really not at that level right now. So let's go back here on this. So here we are. Gas production is topping out. And at the same time, LNG exports are growing. So this is what's coming online. And we're talking almost 6 BCF of gas that will be coming online in the next 2 years on exports. So, and of course, we got Freeport coming online here in a couple more months. This is not being looked at enough in the market. So, anyways, noteworthy items. Freeport LNG export is now expected back online late February. It's 2 BCF a day. PJM Plan Year 2024-25 capacity auction results. These have been delayed. No real date yet on when these results are going to be announced. It's important to have these. One thing we want to make sure is that when you're looking at your bundled price, and make sure you understand how the capacity is going to work out if you're going through period of, say, June of 2025 or any period after June of 24, which is anything longer than really a year and a half contract if you're contracting at a start date of this month, because suppliers are going to kind of put different numbers in there for capacity. They're going to basically make it off estimates, off of, where some do it off of the previous year's auction, which are very low right now. And everything can be subject to adjustments. Every contract has things that are subject to adjustments, and this is one of them. So when you think you got a fixed price, not necessarily mean it's fixed. Make sure you understand the contract. Again, we're here to help you guys with that if you guys have any questions on those contracting stuff. New York, City, New York, instituted a law over kind of over the holidays. It kind of came out. I mean, this is kind of in the works, but it finally got passed and signed by the governor. It's going to require electricity broker consultants to post a $100K bond, and suppliers are required to disclose commissions effective June of 2023. We're licensed. Box is licensed in the state, and we are going to be posting a bond. So come through with us. You guys are good. More of this will be coming out later. And finally, we have charts. Just ask. We have charts. We have power charts. We get power curves now. We signed up, subscribed to getting power, wholesale market curves for nodes, all that stuff. So if you need some stuff, just let us know. We have it. And just want to go into strategies here. Again, just be disciplined out there. We just actually worked with a very large customer over in California. They had some issues with getting caught short the market. And again, I've always said this before: you're short the market. Everyone's short the market naturally for some period of time. They expect to be in business. So if you don't have any position on, you're on the index rate. Right now, you are short the market. So they got kind of short out there in the whole situation with the kind of gas issue, and the pricing, the basis blew out. We're talking gas went $50, $60 BCF, and they had some issues. They weren't disciplined, and we worked on a strategy with them. So we can help customers, and we can help you figure out strategies for your customers, because that's the name of the game, is being disciplined. No one needs to be a hero here and get $2 gas. Be disciplined, have a plan, so you don't have those issues where you have blowouts and taking part in blowouts in pricing. So set strike prices. They can totally increase your chances of participating in a market dip. It's huge, especially larger customers. This is huge. I can't emphasize that enough. I've been on a trade desk. I've seen these deals when they come through. When we got deals that we know we can execute on them, and we get a good offer in the market. We can execute on it, and we have that behind us. And hedge something. Right now, if you're not hedging something at these lower price on this drop, good luck. But this is really a great time to do that. Anyway, that's it with the market update. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask us. Ping us here, or maybe answer some of these at the end of the call. But I'll let Allie take it away from here and go over these RFP management services. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott, for that market overview. We've definitely had a lot of development. So I know we also do send out both a recording of the whole webinar will be available online, and we will also we usually PDF these the presentations as well. So if you want to read over it later and you want to kind of hit on some of these market points, or be able to reference this RFP kind of overview that we're about to do in the future, just stay tuned for that. You should be getting an email at some point after the webinar. It's usually either later the same day or the next day. Now we're going to go into our RFP management services. I'm really excited to talk about this. We see RFPs all the time, and I'm really excited to be launching basically our own strategic services offering of managing and administrating RFPs. So first off, we'll talk a little bit about RFPs and what they are. RFPs are requests for proposals. They're used for larger customers who maybe have complex requirements, but more importantly, a responsibility to a larger group of stakeholders. Those stakeholders can be board members, they can be constituents if we're talking about a government entity, or they may be, a larger ownership group, just depending on the nature of the organization. And they may be required, whoever is responsible for keeping track of the electricity or natural gas invoices or vendors, is responsible for making sure that their rate is the lowest, that it's the best on the market, and that they're working through vendors that are aligned with that organization's vision and kind of mission. RFPs themselves are a big document, lots and lots of pages, which describe the organization issuing the RFP, what they're looking for, the bidding process, their timeline, instructions on what information they want bidders to include, any desired formatting, contracting terms. They're very, very detailed documents. They can be, upwards of 20 to 40 pages for a light one, just depending on the scope of the RFP. Organizations such as municipalities or other government entities are usually the ones where you will see RFPs. So other organizations in the public sector who want to make sure that their process is conducted in a fair and impartial way, and that they're delivering the best results on the market to their stakeholders or shareholders. Box can put all of this together for your customer. So if you have a customer, I know that we have gotten several opportunities both last year and this year from, for example, municipal aggregations are a very common application of the RFP process in our industry. RFPs can be request for proposal. It can also be request for bid or request for information, but it's a formalized process, and that's something that Box can help your customer with. So several municipalities back whenever markets first deregulated had aggregated. And if you've ever run into something where it's, city of Muncie, or just using, I don't even know if Muncie is actually a municipal aggregation, but for example, if it's city of or municipality, if that bill is bundled in with other regulated utilities, you can be sure you're looking at a municipal district. Several of them did aggregations back whenever their markets first deregulated, and then due to the stagnant nature of energy markets that we saw over the last probably 10 years before we got into the pandemic, and then into some of these fun demand and production issues and imbalances we've had lately, they basically let those arrangements expire. So if you know cities who are looking for help managing the energy market, if you guys know or have contacts at universities or other large public organizations, they're all good candidates for this. And basically what Box is able to do is we're able to draft and administrate an RFP basically from A to Z. So the first step in that process, working with your customer, is going to be a planning phase and a discovery phase. We work with the organization to identify their requirements, their scope, potential vendors, their timeline, their goals, and what the review process and execution process is going to look like. So we go into a lot of detail with customers. We do a deep dive into all of their accounts, look at all of their different rate classes. If you're pricing a city, you're going to have quite a few of them, and it's going to be a list of a ton of meters. So we'll do a deep dive into, what their current situation is, if they're with a utility, if they're with a retailer, and we'll look at basically all of the factors that are affecting them within their local landscape. We'll also talk with them about any of their goals for the future. So on this webinar before, we've talked a lot about ESG, environmental, social, and governance goals. If the customer is looking to get a handle on their emissions, if the customer is looking to, go solar and install a microgrid, then again, that's something that Box can help them do. We can help them with all of the phases of those projects. We have resources in all of these areas. So our goal is really to understand the customer's goals, both in the short term and in the long term, get to understand their risk tolerance and how we can best help them. Box is an energy partner. We're a partner for all of our brokers, and we're also a partner for all of these customers. We can be a long-term partner. This process is not a quick process, but we're in it and we're happy to administrate and be a consultant and help customers through these energy markets. The next step is to draft and issue the RFP. So Box will create a document that outlines all of those requirements, the desired products, the terms. The RFP can be provided to retail suppliers via our usual channels. It can be provided to efficiency partners kind of via the same. Or if the customer is required to post publicly, then we can work with them in order to do that. And basically, that document is going to walk everybody through, okay, this is exactly what we're looking for, and then this is our timeline. Whenever it comes time to pull the trigger and to get something in place, this is the way that we're going to do it. So very detailed document that we'll set forth for the customer on their behalf. The next thing, and this is, I think, one of the biggest values that Box can bring, is to review all of the responses as they come through. So usually you'll have a timeline that's pretty long. You'll have basically, you'll set out the RFP, and then 2 weeks later, suppliers or potential vendors will be required to give notice saying, yes, I intend to bid. Then you'll have a bidding date, and then you'll have a scheduled review process through which you're vetting suppliers. You're looking at all of the responses that we got. And Box is going to help you with that review process. We do our due diligence on every bid received, making sure all of the responses are apples to apples, and any conditions or caveats are really clearly and directly communicated to the customer. Our industry expertise is really paramount here. It's just, you don't know what you don't know, and every vendor is going to want to put their own, their own spin on everything. But our job is to make sure that whatever we're getting, we're presenting it in a clear and concise way. We're making sure that everything is apples to apples, and that the customer is very, very clear. Like I said, you don't know what you don't know, and unfortunately with energy markets, what you don't know actually can really hurt you. So if they're speaking in some sort of capacity adjustment language or things like that, those are all things that we will catch, we will communicate, whether that's a positive thing or a negative thing. If a supplier comes up with a, exceptionally creative option that's not something that we had, necessarily listed as a product structure on the RFP, then we're happy to communicate that to the customer as well. So might help in terms of Box being able to bring everybody to the table. That's really what we're there to do. We'll also help with notifying all of our finalists or the winners of the RFP and letting them know next steps. Generally, the next step is to get the appropriate contract language in place. So you do a very thorough contract review, and we facilitate that through or between the supplier and the customer, making sure that the contract is approved by both parties. And of course, we'll do our best. We sit on the customer side of the table, negotiating terms that are to their favor. So we'll work with the customer, make sure that they're getting exactly what they need, and that they're going to be happy once we have something that's executed and in place. The next thing, once we go through, make sure everything is apples to apples. We have a winner. Once that winner has been selected and both parties have agreed to terms, we schedule a date for execution. Once the bid has been awarded and the agreement is executed, everything's locked that needs to be locked, and everybody's happy. Box will still continue to follow up and make sure that the customer is enrolled properly. Some of these municipal applications can have thousands of meters. So this is a lot of ongoing work for whichever entity is managing it, either for the procurement department or for the energy department. And we want you guys to know that we are there to help the whole way, whether it's changes, whether it's add deletes, whether we're moving into an efficiency project and they're expecting changes to their load. We're there to help them navigate throughout the term of the agreement. So this isn't something where it's just going to be a set it and forget it. Even if it is a full fixed rate, you can't set it and forget it whenever it comes to a city and municipal aggregation. So we are here to be a partner and to continue to manage and provide ongoing support, assist if the customer has any issues at the term of the agreement. So if you have customers who are interested and who are required to put a bid out to the public space, required to conduct a fair and impartial process, Box is here to help. We would love to get some of these processes drafted, and these customers are generally what I tell all of our partners and all of our account managers is generally these projects and RFPs are a lot of work, both for us and for our partners, but they're well worth doing. You can really design products that potentially, a procurement manager who's looking at procuring everything from, energy to other sorts of supplies can miss. You can figure out a product that works really, really well for them and performs really well. And they know that at the end of the day, if they're having any issues, if they're having a billing issue, if they're looking at making next steps into energy efficiency, they have somebody who they know they can call, who can start talking about those next steps with them and hold their hand, guide them through the process. So that's our RFP overview. I think now we've got a little bit of time for questions. I know we're running just a little bit over, and then we'll make our very exciting announcement. Scott, do we have questions today?
Yeah, there's one question. Someone wants to know what a freeze-off is, and I'm going to go back to this, and this is where I reference it at. 1 second here. So gas production was freeze-off in December, and really what happens in that is there's kind of production is halted at the well because water and other liquids contained within kind of this natural gas mixture freeze. So they got to just kind of like halt the well for that. And when there's a lot of cold, this kind of happens, and you'll have this off and on over the winter. And if it's a sustained period of time, it can happen. But we're talking a lot of it in the Marcellus area. There's a lot of wells that I think I saw a number. It's close to like half of them where they shut down for a little bit of time. And this is causes some production freeze-offs. But it's a good question there. But yeah, it's basically it is what it is. What it sounds like. It's like there was this freezing shut off production. So freeze off. And I don't see any other questions right now. So again, just want to reiterate on the get back to the RFP overview. What Ali discussed here is we have the ability. We can draft and issue an RFP. We can draft up an RFP, write one up. This is really heavily for municipal organizations, government organizations, some public organizations very large ones where they have to have some sort of like process and documented process. And we can do all this. We can draft it up. If you have a customer that wants to do this, talk to us. But feel free. This is, again, all these services that we provide, everything, this comes to help you guys do these larger deals, to close these deals, to look more sophisticated in front of the customer, and look like you're a large, sophisticated shop that can do all these things. So it gives you the confidence to be able to walk into a door, and if you see your local city as running kind of looking for proposals to help run the electricity thing or gas procurement, you can do that. You can have these conversations with your city government and talk to them about your local city government. That's where I'd start out with, your school district, to see if they can keep it local. So you can know there, see who do you have a meeting with and discuss these things. We're here. We can help you get these and win them. And once you start issuing an RFP and you get a hold of that, you're the one that's in charge of doing the RFP. It's like an LOE. You're pretty much guaranteed to, you'll basically sign an LOE, kind of showing that they'll contract through that RFP process. So you've got the business at that point. One thing we're going to be looking to add on, it's kind of complementary to the RFP process, hopefully by summertime, by the end of the second quarter, is our target is to institute a reverse auction capability in-house here. And we're looking to add that in. I think it could be pretty helpful for certain customers, again, that have to have some sort of documented process and transparency behind it. and it's a way to kind of work with customers, where hopefully customers can see these bids coming. They'll be able to see the bids coming in and have a login and see that as well as it's taking place live. And it's another good marketing tool we have, another tool we're building here to help you guys out. Anything else to add to that, Ellie?
No, I'm really excited about having the capability to do reverse auctions on behalf of our customers and in tandem with our brokers. I know that that's something that a lot of our brokers have been requesting for a long time, so it's something we're really, really excited to be putting in place. So start, if you have customers who have maybe required something like that in the past, then definitely feel free to reach out to them. Like Scott said, that'll be in place hopefully here by the summer. And I'm sure we'll be doing a webinar on doing a demo as soon as we do get it in place. So stay tuned for it, but definitely keep that in your pocket whenever you're talking to some of these larger customers.
Excellent. Thanks, Allie. And again, here's the new corporate picture we took last month. Believe it or not, it was tornado warnings going on, and tornadoes touching down about 3 hours before this. And it's been sunny. This is last December, and but want to share this with you guys. I'm pretty proud of this company, and wanted to again remind everybody we're here to serve you. This is our job. So number one role every day we come in. Excited to help you guys out. Excited to grow this company with you guys, and excited to continue and further and provide best services, not only to you guys, but ultimately to the customer level. So have a great month, everybody. Again, contact us for any questions you have and charts and anything you need. We're here for you here at the Pricing Desk and also at Box. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.